we all have the ability to travel and experience different realms, different realities that we have, different dimensions, different experiences of ourself. And we all have the ability to access these experiences. Some of them are, some of them coincide side by side this reality. Some are not that similar. And you're also able to experience higher realms of consciousness, higher levels of our soul, and other planes of existence that we have access to, that we can tap into. Some people tap into this during meditation. Some people tap into this when they are traveling with their etherical body. Some people are able to tap into this when they do different type of healing methods. Again, we all have this ability to tap in to these realms, and we are unknowingly penetrating these experiences, sometimes side by side. And so don't underestimate your personal power, and trust that when you experience yourself in another reality that looks just like this life, not to be afraid to know that if you're being shown something, that there probably is a purpose, whether you know that or not. You may have even led yourself there on purpose, but then don't remember. So one example for me personally, I was tapping into a reality that was literally almost identical to this exact incarnation, but it wasn't quite the same. It was nearly identical, but there were some things that I just instinctively knew. I intuitively knew that this wasn't this life. It wasn't a future life. It was like one that was going on simultaneously. And I was able to explore and just witness myself in this realm, in this reality. I was watching myself like have a normal day. It was me living my life as Katrina, and everything looked pretty similar. Again, I did know intuitively that it wasn't this reality, but it was very close. And so I explored that reality of mine for about 2 weeks, trying to dig and dig as my analytical mind naturally does. It wants to investigate and dig and understand and analyze what is significant about this particular reality that I keep being shown. And so I came to the final conclusion that it wasn't so much that there was information for me to find in witnessing myself play out that reality, but more importantly, the purpose was for me to understand that I exist on these other planes, just like me today. And so the purpose was not, again, that in particular, reality. The purpose was to have the broader viewpoint, the broader perspective, that the broader knowing and understanding that I am also existing on so many planes of existence, so many realities, and I was able to kind of pop in and pop out and just watch. I watched myself for 2 weeks. I eventually got bored. I was like, well, I don't see a purpose in this life. What is the point here? And the point was not that life was special or significant. The point was that it was to show me that I am living in other realities that could be nearly identical, but they're not the same. It is a little bit different, and only you would know if they're different. And so the bigger picture was knowing that I'm existing here in such close realities. And the most interesting takeaway from that bigger picture, that bigger understanding, was that as a soul or as a consciousness, I was able to take different, when I watched and observed myself, I was able to like scan. I was like scanning. I was scanning things like that life. And then once I was in there, I was able to be like invisible, just to observe the whole experience. And then I was also able to like become or jump into my physical body in that reality. I was able to jump in there in the body and actually feel the whole realness. That was real. Like that body was real. That whole world I was living in was real. And then I would pop back out, still in the realm, still in this reality here that I'm, experiencing. And so I could witness it and then jump into the body and then witness it. And then I wondered, well, how do I identify with that distinction? Why is there like a distinction? How does my soul or my consciousness know that I'm either in that body or I'm just observing it still from the other reality, okay? And I've come to the understanding that we have so many extensions of ourself that our soul, our consciousness, our soul is like a pulse, so pulsing, right? And I was wondering for a while how I could actually still be existing if I'm only one soul, right? And I come to the understanding that the soul is like the pulsing, and it will come into the realities that it needs its, I guess, immediate attention, or when it needs to. It doesn't have to be in that body, just for the example here, to still be in existence. And that really blew my mind, because that just blew my mind. And I thought about that for a while. How was I able to still live a life and exist if I was able to pop in and pop out and still be me and still live this life the way I know it here today? And I've come to understand that we are, our etherical body, our energetics have, once they have concentrated itself in a particular thought pattern or experience, it can live on. It doesn't require like this soul, this complete soul or this complete consciousness to be a continual presence, because it's already continually present. So I hope that's not too confusing. That's just been my experience. That's been my personal understanding of what I've, gone through, and not trying to confuse anybody here, just sharing with everyone, what it was like. And love to hear stories from those who resonate with this, or happy to answer any questions. If you have any regarding my experience, happy to share and help.